The second annual Afghan Ski Challenge took place in these mountains in Bamiyan, currently one of the most secure provinces in the country. The race, which was 700 vertical meters, began here on the left, went up around the back of these hills, and finished here on the right, not far from the start. Which means that the spectators didn't get to see a whole lot of skiing, but definitely a lot of climbing. The beautiful thing about this race, or the horrific thing, depending on how in shape you are, is that the first part of it is a grueling trek up the side of the mountain. And it's not just about speed, it's also about endurance. The 10 Afghans who entered, along with the 5 international contestants, definitely had the advantage because even though many of them have only spent several months learning how to ski, they've been climbing this same hill at least twice a day, every day, during those past several months. And even though one wouldn't necessarily call their skiing poetry in motion, the fact is they won. 9 of the 10 Afghans finished before any of the international contestants. In fact, many of them had finished the race before some internationals had even made it to the top.
You know, our bit of the challenge was the way down, but even by then it's just there's no point. Yeah, really. It's very impressive. I mean, there's no competition between them and us. They just fly by us, really.
This contestant, whose binding broke on the way down, was a former trainer of some of these Afghan contestants and was happy to see them do so well.
The thing that's really struck me throughout all of this has just been the enthusiasm the guys that have been involved in the program have had, like the way they just will get up every day, and they've been training so hard, and it's so great to see them sort of coming down and beating all the international competitors here.
Another international contestant almost gave in to desperation.
When I saw I was so far away from everybody, I was going down and getting depressed. And one guy came and said, "Don't worry, you are the only woman." So at least you will be a winner in your category.
But her accomplishment extended even further, since there were no women in last year's race either.
At least you can be proud to say you're first woman in the archives of Afghan history of ski competition.
But this unlikely competition in a war-torn country isn't just a novelty for its own sake. It is the culminating event of a training program for these Afghan racers and others, including children, women, and, apparently, Afghan police officers. And this training is intended to turn the locals on to skiing, so they will support tourism efforts, which their governor, who is incidentally the first female governor in Afghanistan, strongly supports as the key to Bamiyan's success.
My vision for Bamiyan is to promote tourism. We have to bring sustainable development income for the community.
The governor hasn't tried skiing herself, but it seems to be catching on with many of the locals.
We were at the top of this course. There's kids that have come up from the next valley, and they've got these little wooden skis they've made themselves, and they've come up and they all want to be part of it, and they all want to practice some turns, and so it's just this huge enthusiasm for skiing, you know.
Jeff Holden in Bamiyan Province, Afghanistan, for the NATO Channel.